Thinking about strong leaders? Wondering who got it? Pause. Think about it with intentional thought and consider where we go from here. Join our co-sponsors, Page Investment Limited and DomDev Enterprises Limited, as we stay tuned and hear what our guest, Sam Stubbs, has to say about impactful leaders on the road to independence. We want you to post your questions, concerns, and suggestions as we go so that we could walk down this road of memory lane and hear what he has to say. So wait for our friends, and we will all have a happy ride. We'll be right back. All right, Mr. Stubbs, how are you today, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's great, that's great. I know you know my peoples.
Who?
My grandfather was Dan Knowles. So right now we're going to introduce to you Mr. Stubbs, who is a freedom fighter of sorts as we go. And so what we want you to know is my name is Dale Happy Knowles, and what we are about on this show is to try and find things that persons and ideas and events that are innovative, that is different from our normal scope of things, and bring on what we want. Tonight we have a discussion that takes us way back in history, way back to our very beginning of our birth as a nation of sorts, before we got to independence, where we became to the majority rule and the labor movement and the scenarios that we moved in order to get to there. And so we're going to highlight leaders in this Independence Month. And one of the leaders that we're going to highlight is Mr. Stubbs, who is a big person in the labor movement. Mr. Stubbs was born in and this evening, what we're going to have a little different scenario is because of Mr. Stubbs' age and his condition, that we're not having him live, but we're going to play the interview that we did with him as we go. And so just to give you a little background, so that he's not able to give those himself tonight, but a little background on it is that Mr. Stubbs was born on this day in 1930, today. Today is his birthday, and he is 91 years of age. And so we congratulate him and wish him a very happy birthday. Plenty happies, there got to be happies in there somewhere. And so we are pleased that he has been able to bless us with this opportunity to hear from him tonight, and that we were able to also put this on during his birthday on the exact day. And so as we do that, we're going to now continue to highlight who Mr. Stubbs is. And so what we said is that he was born on this day in 1930 to Samuel Stubbs and Mrs. Pearline Stubbs of Long Bay Key, Andres. And we understand that the British law back then didn't allow him to go beyond 14 years of age in school. And so he attended the Bay Key Andres High School. And at the age of 15, he moved to Nassau to stay with his elder sister, where he became a jockey, those persons who race on the horse. And he raced for Sahari Oakes' wife, Lady Oakes, on her horse. And so then he went on to make a career in that for about 6 years and was highly successful, according to him. And Mr. Stubbs' jockey experience engulfed him in what was considered to be the suffering of the people. And so with that, he got inspired, and he saw a lot of discrimination happening. And so with that first-hand experience coming from the island, that didn't sit well with him. And so he says he went on in order to change his mindset. And so he went off to the States, to the farm workers program. in 1951, where he learned from the peaceful civil rights movements that was there abroad. And so that also indicted him in a big way. And so when he returned to the Bahamas in 1953, he later married the Cipriana Eloise Wallace, and who became, as he says, making her Mrs. Cipriana Eloise Stubbs. Now, there's some significance in that because back then, when a lady got married, their title or ownership changed, and that was in law. And that had to change over time too, which, thank God, a new system of governments that we have took us that route. And so once we did that, then Mr. Stubbs in that marriage produced 10 children, 7 boys and 3 girls, who are all alive today and taking care of him in a big way. And in 1958, he says that he was a construction worker at the airport, which is going to be our focal point tonight, where Mr. Stubbs experienced firsthand difficulties of the taxi cab obtaining a minimum amount of respect as a chauffeur to sustain an industry of tourism. And this was the beginning of a never-ending fight for equality in our land. And so in 1958, he also became a personal endeavor of his to fight the peaceful for equality and Bahamian citizens. And he became a member of the trade union without ever having a taxi badge. I guess that was something in that time because, you know, we thingsy like that, right? We don't like people to get in our business if we're not members of anything. And so we're going to talk about a lot about that tonight, but then as we move forward, then we will see that that trade union, taxi union, was a member, a subsidiary of the Bahamas Federation of Labor, which Sir Randall Fox was the leader or president and so forth. And we know of the Sir Randall Fox, and he's going to talk a little bit about his experience with Sir Lyndon, Sir Randall, Sir Roland Simonet, Mr. Fred Cooper, and Mr. Garth Wright in particular, and maybe touch on 1 or 2 other persons as we go. And so what we're going to do now is just roll in our intro, and then we will continue on with the show. So we'll be right back.
Something to think about with Dale Happy Knowles.
All right, so now we have Mr. Stubbs with us this morning, the afternoon, and what we're going to do now is we're going to dwell into the conversation that he and I recorded earlier. As I mentioned before, it was a challenge for him to be able to be out late in the evening and so forth, and so, but we are blessed that he took the opportunity and the time just to sit with us and hear what he has to say. 91 years of age on his birthday. Right, we recorded this previously, but to be able to honor him in such a way on his birthday today, we need to do more of this. So many of our elders that is out there who paved the way for us to be here today, to do the things that we are doing. So, Madam Producer, you want to roll the vid, and then as time goes, we'll find some spots and maybe break it and have a little discussion on some of the things.
All
right, Mr. Stubbs, how are you today, sir?
I'm fine, thank you.
That's great, that's great. I know you know my peoples.
Who?
My grandfather was Dan Knowles.
Yeah.
Yeah. Me and Tommy grew up on the baseball diamond together. Yeah. He's a good man who created there, you know. He's getting a little beside himself, but he's very much energetic, and I see a lot of your attributes from what I've heard about you in him, which is good.
Have you ever have you read the book Fate That Moved the Mountain by Saranda?
I've read pieces of it, like you pick up a piece and grab a piece and this, but from cover to cover, no, I have not done that yet. That's on my bucket list before I leave this, like, to do the whole thing.
Yeah, because the movie, the forward of the book, you know.
The forward in the book?
Yeah, the forward is written by me.
Right, yes. Okay, but I'll make sure to go back and read that for sure today. And make sure I have that under my belt today.
Fate that moved the mountain.
Yes.
Why
yes.
is Fate that moved the mountain? He named it like that. He had faith that the mountain was moved because, you know, the UBB was, they charged him with sedition.
Ah. mhm.
But most of the people didn't know what the meaning of sedition.
Right.
Even Sagai Henderson, you remember him?
No, I heard the name, but I don't know too much about him. Yeah.
Yeah. He was Chief Justice. He knew what knew what sedition mean.
Right.
That's why when he was charged with sedition, no lawyer in Nassau or in the Bahamas could have taken the case for handle when he was charged with that by the Basic Boys.
Right.
And what really happened? I had to make the recommendation for him to go to Jamaica to look for a lawyer, and they found this guy from England who went to Jamaica, and that's where he was. Vivian Blake,
Okay.
QC.
Right.
He loved for Fox. I think I knew what sedition meant, the meaning of sedition before any of the MPs or lawyers know or Chief Justice know about the meaning of sedition.
Right.
Because the night I picked him, me and Fox picked him up from the airport when he came on British Airways.
Right.
The first thing he asked Fox who I was. Folks tell him who I was. I was the General Secretary of the Union.
Right.
Under Fox, the labor movement.
What year was that?
In 58.
58.
Not 50, yeah, 58. 58. Okay. That's after I came up to the racetrack.
Yeah.
So, I used to be a jockey, you know.
Yeah. So, Mr. Stubbs, we can touch that. So, when were you born? Because, I mean...
1930. 1930.
Yeah, but you look like you were only 25.
Yeah. I'm 91 July coming.
Okay. So, how you get to keep so young?
Faith in God.
Faith?
Faith in God. Taking myself. Live good and eat good.
Right.
And give God thanks.
Right. So you were born into an era when we could not go on Bay Street after dark.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that. Yeah.
We couldn't go on Bay Street because the Bay Street was creating the Bahamian people that they were better than us. And we couldn't go on Bay Street. You know, we couldn't go on certain places. Certain restaurant you couldn't go.
Right.
Certain store you couldn't go to eat or nothing like that.
Right.
You couldn't even make a reservation to go into no hotels. Nothing like that, you know.
So that's visit no work. Or you could work there or you couldn't work there?
You could work there, but you couldn't go there.
Okay, you couldn't, have fun,
Because I used to ride for Lady Oaks before when I went to Nassau from Andros.
Right.
I went on a racetrack to ride horse.
Right.
And people who I used to ride for, I couldn't go to their store, some of them.
Right.
Like Lady Oaks, I couldn't go to Sheridan British colonial. At the same time, you couldn't go in the yard
Right.
with the uniform. You know,
Right.
do you maybe to win a race? You know, you still
Yeah. Yeah.
still
Yeah.
couldn't go there.
Yeah. Your jockey uniform on.
Yeah,
So
still couldn't go.
So that means that you would have been around when I talk to the young people and I ask them about Burma Road and the general strike. They don't know anything about that. So you would have been right there. If you were
Yeah.
born in 30, that means you would have had to been in your teens.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was 15 when I leave home.
Okay.
Honduras, and come straight to Nassau
Mm-hmm.
and run the racetrack. This is my first job.
Mm-hmm.
I've been to ride horse.
You ride the horses at the jockey at the hobby horse racetrack where Bahama is now. Yeah.
Yeah, they still owe me.
So how many races you won?
I can tell you, but it's in the book, you know.
Okay.
I've been plenty of races, man.
Mm-hmm. Cool. So the general strike, what did that mean to you?
The general strike means so much to me. I'll never forget that all the songs and everything on
The songs, the general strike? Mm-hmm.
general strike was a funny situation.
Okay.
What I want to get, what I could get at that you might not like, but I don't know. General strike come because of the taxi drivers.
Okay. Yeah.
Because the Stafford Sands Minister of Tourism gave the contract for Knowles to bring all the people from the airport
Mm-hmm.
by buses and from the ship by buses.
Mm-hmm.
They go on tour and make up tours and detours, transportation.
Right.
And that had the taxi business. During that time, I left the contract and went on the masonry side and carpentry construction.
Okay.
And doing the construction, I was working on now called Linden
Right.
Airport,
Mm-hmm.
which was the general airport.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And I was working on the airport when Serrano Fox wasn't a Southern, but was,
Right.
you know, and Finland and Milo Butler and Clifford Allen, the late Governor General, and he was the president of the taxi union.
Right. Okay. The Clifford. Mm-hmm.
Yes, Clifford. He didn't like what happened with Dan was bringing all the people from the airport and from the cruise ship, and taking turns with the ship, and was taking a job from taxis, and that cost
Right.
went to the airport and blocked the airport and carry all the keys to on Wood Road to Taxi Union Hall.
Okay.
And lock all the taxis at the airport. And they wasn't bringing nobody from the airport, not
From the
by
airport.
taxi then.
Right.
So Don would keep on bringing them. So what happened? We locked they locked the airport. And I was doing construction down there. And Fox and Pin walk in the room and say, "No sweat." And the next word was "now," between the two of them.
Right.
No Sweat, and now
Now.
Fox,
Okay.
No Sweat, and Finland now.
Yeah.
So we had to put on our tools and leave the airport and go down
Yeah.
empty or get a ride up, or who had a car to ride up.
To write up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now you was the general
Law.
secretary, right?
yeah. Not
That's
then.
Not then. Okay. Okay.
Not then. After I joined, after folks come down, and they asked me to join the union, the labor movement. I joined the labor movement. Then they had election at the construction site in Fox Building on Wood Road,
Right.
in Bodie Bank. On Wood Road. Do you remember Bodie Bank?
Yeah, I know where Bodie Bank is.
Yeah. And they select me to run. That's
Okay.
when I won.
Ah, okay.
The general secretary.
Right.
And then I began to learn the rules and regulations
Rules,
and everything of the union.
yeah.
And
Now,
set the laws. But no.
so the general secretary in the union is a very important role. That's the
Yeah.
man where almost everything go through.
Yeah. I set all the prices and everything in the construction field.
Yeah. So, like, how tall are you, Mr. Stubbs? You remember? Like, you
Who?
remember how tall are you?
5 feet 5.5.
5 feet 5.5, and you're the general secretary, the man who throwing the biggest hammer around to get everything done.
Everything done. Yeah.
Yeah, that's some serious power. And back in those days, it seemed like short people had plenty power.
Everything, it seemed that way, right? Because everything they wanted to be done was through the general secretary.
Right.
You know, we had a big issue during the strike. We had a gentleman from England called Mr. Martin Pounder.
Pounder. Okay.
Yeah, he's a white man, and he came to have to either strengthen or weaken the union, and the federation won't have a general strike again.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
So, and we had to meet with G.C. Anderson, the Contractors Association. We had to meet with all of them on Bay Street and have a meeting and find out why we shouldn't have a general strike. They said it was detrimental to the country. But we show him that the labor man would be work, have to work, and they have to earn a good, decent wage, you know?
Right.
Because you know, after we start to operate in the union, and Fox wrote the laws to the government.
Okay.
Because he didn't join he was independent. He was a PLP before.
Okay.
And then he left the PLP and run as a PLP in the general election in 1956. Was Finland, Fox, Milo, Sammy Isaac, Clarence Bain, and Stevenson. 6.
6 of them?
Yeah. Win their seat.
Okay.
More than them run, but 6 of them win their seat.
Right.
And they call them the Magnificent Six. You see on the book.
Right.
If that moved the mountain.
So they would have all been independent at the time. or the PLP would have been formed by then?
All that was PLP at that time.
At that time, okay.
When they won the election
Mm-hmm.
in 56.
56. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they won the seats.
And,
Yeah.
and
So 56.
the two gentlemen who found the PLP was H.M. Taylor
Mm-hmm.
and Cartwright.
Cartwright, okay.
Stevenson.
Cartwright. Mm-hmm.
They found there's the founder of the PLP, and Taylor, Mr. Taylor, H.M. Taylor was the leader of the PLP.
Right.
But he didn't win a seat. Then
Right,
that's when they need a leader
Mm-hmm.
to lead the PLP.
Okay.
And Fox.
That's
when the big role. That's when Fox and Finland.
followed.
The two lawyers come from England,
Mm-hmm.
and the two best in the party. And Fox went in senior, and Finland went in junior.
Mm-hmm.
And so they asked Fox if he would substitute until Taylor get a seat. As you know, you have to have a seat
In the House.
in the House of Assembly to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So Fox said, I'm not substituting for no one. So if you want me to lead, ask me to lead.
Mm-hmm.
If you ask him to substitute, you can lead until Taylor get a seat and Taylor take the seat back over.
Mm-hmm.
That's me out.
Yeah, he wasn't for that. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he wasn't for that. He wasn't for no substitute leader. He was a completely leader.
Yeah.
So it only leave Finland next to Fox to accept the seat. So Finland accept the seat of Taylor
Mm-hmm.
to substitute until Taylor get a seat.
Mm-hmm.
But every election, wherever Finland put him, he lose.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even the last place he put him is home, where Taylor come from.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Long Island.
Long Island.
Long Island. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he lose that seat, so he couldn't get in the House of Assembly. So Finland keep on leading, and winning every election he win. He's winning. And that's why he win so long. And everybody keep a voting for Finland, Finland and Fox all the way.
Yeah.
That's
So they were a team for a period of time, and then they would separate or they would split. What kind of people were them? How did you know them? What was your thoughts of them? Each person.
I know Finland. I know Finland. His street, his daddy had a store in the street.
Okay.
Mr. Finland.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to go around. Finland used to play ball too, you know. Out of years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
House. And Finland was a nice guy, and he was a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I get to know him very well, and we vote for him every election. Him and Fox until he won a seat in St. Barnabas and against a gentleman from Kekas Island.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I understand that he wasn't a Bahamian, but they made him a Bahamian because he joined the PLP.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And he ran against Fox. Fox won that seat, and then they had a by-election, and they run Fox again. they didn't run Fox again, but that's when Fox run independent.
Independent. Okay.
PLP didn't give him a nomination. So the general government take us. You run as a PLP and win over Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what caused the split between the PLP
And Fox.
and Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Fox run independence and lose.
Yeah. So, Mr. Stubbs,
Then you run again, and then you win again. Fox run again, and he won.
Yeah, 67.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So,
No,
so you said Mr. Fox was a strong man.
Very strong, powerful.
Mm-hmm.
You was more powerful than Pinland.
Mm-hmm.
But Pinland was the leader, so you get it. Fox wanted a second in the House of Assembly.
Mm-hmm.
And he couldn't get a second from the PLP members over there. If he put somebody to the floor, he couldn't get a second.
Oh.
So you run me and Cartwright, who was
So you ran?
No, I came third out of nine. 9 of us run for the Deep South, me and Cartwright.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
We run for the PLP. We run for the party,
Mm-hmm.
Labour Party, but we lose.
Right. Okay.
We came second and third.
Good. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Good.
Dorset and Spurgeon Bell won for the PLP.
Yeah, I remember Spurgeon Bell then. Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get no. So he didn't Fox didn't get a seat.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So they continue election after election after election.
So that was the only time you ran?
That's the only time I run.
Mm-hmm.
I run then because of the women's suffrage.
Okay.
Give the women the right to vote. To register and to vote. That's why we run. That's why I run.
Right.
To give the women the right to register.
To register. Okay.
Women couldn't register in the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
And they couldn't vote.
Right.
So they come a little closer for next general election. When they had a general election, they came tie.
Mm-hmm.
1818.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Why Finland gained some power?
Right.
The Beachy boys wrote Fox a letter and asked inviting Fox to join the UBP and offer him so much money. So Fox refused.
Mm-hmm.
So he said before he met, and you would cover the letter to Fox, and before Fox refused the letter,
Right.
Fox said he would call a general meeting with all the union officers, members, and vote for whether him to join the UBP or stay independent or join the PLP.
Mm-hmm.
And but then I get together with all my members in the labor movement.
Labor. Mm-hmm.
That we could be supposed to have a meeting that night on good food in the House of Labor. And then what happened? We make a resolution
Mm-hmm.
that when Fox not together, when you meet the order, I would make the motion that Fox give Finland the seat to beat Bob Simonet
Right. Okay.
to form the government.
Yeah.
the secretary of the union, as the treasurer, Gus Cooper Daddy.
Okay.
He was second the motion to me.
Right.
Because he was my secretary.
Right.
And that's how we decide to do the meeting that night. So that night when they had the meeting in Woodford, you couldn't find
a seat
from Woodford, from Windsor Park to St. Barnabas. You couldn't get a seat. You couldn't get a parking space.
Wow, that's a long way.
Everybody trying to find out who's going to win the seat. Whoever win the seat is 1918.
Right.
Because they were 1818. And I made the motion. When Fox knocked the gavel, I said, Mr. President, officers and members of the Federation of Labor, I, the General Secretary, Samuel Stubbs, I made the motion that the seat of the union be given to Hello Pinland, the PLP. And the crowd break right up on that.
Oh, geez, they will never vote.
We never vote. No one can say how much seat either one of them get doing that portion of election.
Yeah.
Nobody get how much. Other than the PLP won the seat.
Right.
So Pinland won the seat. Goes to Roland Summer 1918 and formed the government. The next house that same week. And the crowd leave and rush all night straight to Windsor Park, all over the island.
Wow.
Jump canoe rush.
Sorry about that, folks. My mute seemed to have been on. But that's some deep history going on there that Mr. Stubbs has dropped on the table for us to consider here tonight. And we talk about a little man, 5'5", with a lot of power, dropping all kind of moves in the table to cause history to come and change and the government to be formed, a coalition government that then later became the PLP government as a whole in 68, when we go to the 68 election. But the ingenuity in that leadership that he presented, I find very interesting that they were able to position themselves so that the persons will accept the move to support the Pinland administration, even though his good friend and who he was probably robbing too, Batman and Sir Randall, not to get the nomination because of the logistics of one person in the house, etc. But that vision, that's a big thing. And so we're going to tap into a little bit more of that on the second half of the show when we come back after this break and so forth. You've been listening to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. We're here this evening talking to the mighty Samuel Clarence Stubbs, MBE, and the man who moved the mountain in the book that Sir Randall wrote. So, Madam Producer, you want to take us to the break?
Sammy's Chicken. There's nothing like it.
Samuel Knowles, head coach of 242 Elite Basketball Program. Currently, we're in Orlando, Florida, trying to get our Bahamian youth some exposure, not only to high-level basketball, but also to coaches from prep schools and colleges so that they can get scholarships and go on to further their education and their basketball careers. On top of this, we want our guys to be productive members of society and well-rounded young men. While we're here, we've been doing practices, individual workouts. We've been doing film scrimmages versus other schools, programs, semi-pros, and so forth. Also, we've been putting our players into tournaments every weekend so that they can play and gain that exposure and get that experience that they need to go on to the next level. We ask that anybody willing to donate, feel free to do so. Any bit helps. Anything helps right now to help this go smooth for these guys. This is a great opportunity for them, especially seeing that there hasn't been any basketball in the Bahamas this last year due to COVID. So some of these guys that are seniors, they haven't had a chance to showcase their talents and get those scholarships that they need to further their education. So we ask that you help us out in helping these guys. You can see our teams on social media. You can see us on Facebook at 242 Elite. You can see us on Instagram at 242__elite. And the same goes for Twitter as well. Again, we appreciate any help that's given. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your support.
Welcome back to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. We're here this evening having a walk down memory lane with the Mr. Samuel Clarence Stubbs. And he's given us an account of what happened with the labor movement as we move into majority rule that paved the way for independence. And you know, we celebrated independence in July 10th of this month, and so we're in our independence series of shows. We started off the month with Aaron Green, who talked about rights and rights that we have and what the Constitution gave us and where we situated with that. And last week we had a panel on with Dr. Gilbert Morris, Dr. Chris Curry, Rowena Bethel, and Nahaja Black, and they talked about a lot of good things in terms of strong leadership and building a nation. And now this evening we have the Mr. Stubbs, who's telling us about some of the great leaders of the past and their interaction and his experience with them as we move on the light. And so he's going to continue on with his account as to what happened back then and the charge that he gave that caused the government part, the governing party of the PLP to become the governing party, and so forth. And so, Madam Producer, if you want to roll that second clip for us.
I say, Mr. President, officers and members of the Federation of Labor, I, the General Secretary, Samuel Stubbs, I made the motion that the seat of the union be given to Hello Penland, the PLP, and the crowd break right up on that.
Oh, she said, you'll never vote.
We never vote. No one can say how much seat either one of them get doing that portion of election.
Yeah.
Nobody get how much.
Mm-hmm.
Other than the PLP won the seat.
Right.
So Finland won the seat over Sir Roland Summerett in 1918 and formed the government. The next house that same week.
Mm-hmm.
And the crowd leave and rush all night straight to Windsor Park, all over Ireland.
Wow.
Junkanoo rush. But you know something?
Yes, sir.
Plenty of them did not recognize me as the general secretary. The step I make like that, you know, to give Finland the seat.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They now understand that move. Because me and Fox were so close.
Okay.
You know?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They think I should have given Fox the edge because I was in his union as a general secretary next to him.
Mm-hmm.
And me and got right.
Mm-hmm.
But that wasn't my view. My view that only Fox in the House as a single member, an independent, he couldn't form a political party
right.
as a government.
Mm-hmm.
He couldn't do it. And he didn't have a second.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah.
So he must have given it to Finland. Because she's the first political party in the Bahamas.
Right. Mm-hmm.
The PLP.
Mm-hmm.
UBP is formed after the PLP formed.
Okay.
So I hope they did, and I hope they understand by now. I don't know, but they ain't do nothing for me.
No, well, the people don't talk about it, so that's why I'm glad you're actually speaking of this, and people can't say it's wrong because you're the one who was there and you know what you put on the table, so nobody could say it better than you.
Nobody can say it better than me.
Mm-hmm.
And I made a speech. I recorded a speech,
Mm-hmm.
and they used to bring it on every Labor Day, and the march and everything. They got with me leading the congregation and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But eventually they cut it off. I don't know why.
Yeah. So this was on ZNS. They used to bring it on ZNS.
On ZNS
Mm-hmm.
and TV and radio.
On TV already. Okay.
Yeah.
So
And you never see no labor march?
no, I've seen you stand on the side of Sir Roland and the rest. I've seen that. That's when Tommy showed me you the first time on it. I was like, I knew you from somewhere. I know the face from somewhere. I couldn't tell you where, but then when he showed it to me, then I was like, yeah, that's the same face.
I used to lead the banner.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Fox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like Fox should have given me a position when he became the minister under the PLP government.
PLP, yeah.
He gave me a job, but he didn't give me a job.
Mm-hmm.
And Finland didn't give me a job. So I just stayed lingering as general secretary till I dozed it off. I didn't get no. I stopped getting a salary for Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
I stopped getting a salary.
Okay.
I died off. And all my check was keep on bouncing.
Mm.
So my wife says, you're saying you keep on, and keep on working, and you ain't getting paid,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah. That's sad. So
And
the folks was he mad then that you didn't
I think he was mad.
Mm-hmm.
I think he died mad.
Oh, gee.
I think he died mad because
Mm.
I used to take him to the doctor all the time in Life for Key because his house was on
The airport road.
the airport road,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to take him to the doctor.
Mm-hmm.
So this Monday coming up, I say, well, when you gonna give me something, Ma? Because I even supposed to get $1 of every book sold. The book was also in some of the shops, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because I used to sing for Carter's record shop, and the whole shop burned down,
Yeah.
and something like 10,000 records was destroyed, and all the discs was,
Mm-hmm.
all the discs was burned down. I made a recording and tried recording company in Florida. That's where I made all the records, 10,000
Okay.
records, and they were sold,
Mm-hmm.
and I never get anything from it, you know.
From them. Yeah.
And I never get nothing from the book that he sold, because he
Wow.
told me that I would get $1 of every book.
Book, right? Yeah.
Yeah, and I know when the book was introduced to
Schools.
the school, I sang, and he opened the book, and that's when the book was introduced to the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
Faith that moved the mountain.
Faith that moved the mountain. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Yeah. So, Mr. Stubbs, you really have a really prominent role in the whole majority rule movement. And
I want to
across
take
that.
one. I'm sorry. We used to go out to all the schools.
Mm-hmm.
He played the organ. I mean, the mouth organ, and I sang. And the guy that owned the Base Road bar,
Mm-hmm.
he used to play the trumpet, and we go to all the schools and play and sing to the children and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
As in so many songs, the real hymn was Bahamas' glorious homeland, return again to thee. In answer to thy challenge with purpose ever be, struggle may be heavy, the task has just begun.
Mm-hmm.
With these that no man trusteth, will rest the time in hand. Thus we'll fight forever, till freedom fill the land.
Mm-hmm.
And one day when we are old and to our sons unfold, our brothers on broad shoulders, and to our sons unfold, with one hand we should proclaim thee, Bahamas' glorious homeland, sweet land of liberty. You know?
Yeah. So, Mr. Stubbs, we appreciate you. We appreciate all that you have done.
The songs that I like, and I record them, and I can't find no recording nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
I try all I know to find a recording. Some say they send it to Since the children in Canada, some in America, some in all the other islands. Did I find one record? I've got to make it. ZNS made the first record for me. 78 box and 58. They can't find them by Charles Carter and what the guy named again?
Singer?
Charles Carter.
Yes, to Charles, yeah.
So Charles, he was a son now.
Yeah.
But he helped me my first record with Kim Jackson, who was went missing in the plane,
Okay.
and Kelsey Johnson, and
ZNS?
yes, and all them. They used to play my records every morning devotion, and still they can't find, nobody can find no record
Yeah.
in ZNS for me.
Yeah, I think ZNS had some challenges with everything. But
Yeah, I think so.
Somebody else should have them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. So, Mr. Stubbs, you were honored by the Queen, if I remember right.
Yeah, MBE.
MBE.
Yeah, member of the British Empire.
Oh, yeah, that's a big shot.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm a sole counselor of the PLP
Okay.
for life.
For life. Wow.
For life. Yeah. They had their layout in the household assembly. I lay out in Cylinder headquarters if I should pass in the fall.
Oh, okay. Okay. I thought you were saying they lay you out. I was.
Oh, I hope not.
No.
I hope I stay for a long time. July 28th of next couple of months, I'll be 91.
Next month, yeah. That's
July
that is
this year.
that, and you have such a vivid memory, man. I mean, you call up them people who ran in that election and these different things. I got trouble remembering things that happened last week. How you all get to do that? Your generation seem to have good memory.
It seemed that way. Lady Penland, who was Fox, who was Penland's wife, me up in the same school together, my classmate.
Okay.
In Andros High School. She was a teacher there. I've been to a couple of birthday party of Penland. One before he died, and one after he died. Lady Penland invited me to come in here with some other reverend gentlemen to the party. Before I get a stroke, and I went to America and went up in Atlanta, Georgia, where my son, one of my boys, live. And that's where my oldest daughter takes care of me.
Okay.
For 2 or 3 years.
Yeah. So how many children you have, Mr. Stubbs?
10.
10?
7 boys and 3 girls.
So Tommy is the baby?
No, Christopher. Yeah.
Yeah. So they all over the Bahamas, or all over the world, or just in the Bahamas, or?
The Bahamas.
Tell me a little bit about them. What they doing? Oh.
Lester, that's the one I went to see the doctor.
Okay.
In Atlanta, Georgia. That's where my daughter
is. Okay.
Had me over there in memory. all the other children I raised
Mm-hmm.
were in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
But nobody never do nothing to me.
No, your good deeds are coming from the one above.
Amen.
He's going to take care of you. Yeah.
Like one of my boys told me last week, said, Dad, you're supposed to be living in West Bay Street or
Mhm.
Eastern Point, so somewhere around Life Key, and looking over the ocean and relaxing, and have your chauffeur. The Queen Elizabeth wrote me and asked me if I would accept being a member of the British Empire.
Fire.
Yeah, I would right. She asked me if I would like to. And Ivy Dumas, you remember her?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's an educator. She was the first woman governor. She get a letter from Queen Elizabeth recommending me to be an MBE member of the British Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And she know more about me than I know about myself. Because when the governor, the Duke of Windsor, leave the throne in England and went to America and married Miss Simpson, he came over here and get a governor general of the Bahamas.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to do stunt for him on Windsor, on Clifford Park.
Okay.
Like ride the bicycle and tie my necktie without the bike moving for him, and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
She remember all about that.
Mm-hmm.
And she even read about how I used to conduct the choir in East Street Gospel Chapel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she remember all of that. And that's why she recommended me. The Creator recommended me.
Right.
Miss Ivy Dumas, she anointed me on Government Hill.
Mm-hmm.
She crowned me.
Yeah. That's powerful.
And write me a personal letter.
Mm-hmm. So, Mr. Stubbs, you had 10 children. That means you had a very strong and powerful wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Tell us about your wife.
It's Brianna Wallace.
Okay.
A family from Ragged Island. The Wallace and the Lockhart.
Mm-hmm.
A Mrs. Physician.
Okay.
They're all from the Gospel Chapel in East Street on the Rand Farrington.
A Church of God?
No, Gospel Hall.
Oh, Gospel Hall, sorry. Okay.
Yeah, East Street.
Yeah, brethren. Yeah,
East Street Gospel Hall, brethren.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And I used to conduct the choir.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the record that she get from Christy and the rest of the brethren.
Mm-hmm.
She get all the message from them, who I was and everything they got, and my achievement as a jockey.
Mm-hmm.
And everything like that.
Yeah. So, Mr. Stubbs, and people like you, unsung heroes, are there any others who were unsung heroes of the labor movement who people don't talk about?
I got a trophy from Thomas Bastian, the Labor president.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a gift from the president of the labor movement.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
The one who take the position after Thomas Bastian.
Right. Mm-hmm.
You know me very well.
Okay.
His office is by the by the General Hospital in Bay Street, downtown. Know me very often. Him and Freddie Manning's son. Freddie Jr.
Okay,
Freddie
okay.
Manning's Jr.
Junior? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he next to him. He know me very well. And the last time I heard from him, they were supposed to take up a collection for me. But while I was at the hospital in Atlanta,
Right.
but I never received a check from them
Right.
or nobody else.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
We'll follow up on that with them. See what they would do.
Rosie, I have a message from Lady Fox who died.
Okay.
Rosalie Fox, who wrote the next book, the second book to her daddy,
Okay.
Fate That Moved the Mountain. I have that book too, and she wrote a lot of things with me, and I wrote and she got the forward of me and everything in the book that she wrote.
Yeah.
And they say that her daddy says so much about me, and made him, and stick with him. When nobody else in Nassau, stick with him. When he was in the witness box, I was there.
You was there, yeah. So, Mr. Stubbs, that means that y'all were very powerful as unionists back then. Why are the unions not as powerful now? What advice would you give them? Why they're not as powerful?
Leadership.
Oh, leadership.
Leadership.
Wow.
Leadership, man.
Yeah.
That's what you need. And care for the people.
You care for the people.
Yeah, you have to care for them. If you ain't care for them, then you care for you during election. That's the way it always been. They ain't get work for you. You ain't care for them. They need something from you. They need jobs. They need salaries and stuff like that. You know, Mr. Martin Pounder from England, when he came to talk with us, the labor movement, with G.C. Anderson, the Contractors Association, and I said the price for the workers in the construction union workers, and we used to, the guys used to catch the truck from Clifford Park, from Windor Park to Clifton Pier.
Okay. Wow.
To put the power station. And so I invented them right in time, you know. So they disagree for the right in time. So I said, when they jump on the truck in the morning, 5 o'clock, their time shouldn't stop until they get back to Windsor Park.
Right.
It's too long ride to go listen to it early in the morning. That's what Mr. Martin Father come to stop. You stop all of that, they stop the riding time and the time and a half for holiday.
Yeah.
And vacation, all those times I put in for the workers in this country is on the book.
Right.
Seem that they forget those things, you know. But I remember them.
Yeah, man, you have an awesome memory. Yeah.
In the book. The book.
So, Mr. Stubbs,
when Blake came here, they didn't know where he was going or where he was going to live. Because they didn't think that, they wasn't thinking that what the UVP may do to him. The stops around, you know.
Okay.
But I check him into the Carlton House. You remember the Carlton House?
No, I don't know about that one. No. Okay.
Carlton House is down by where the police station is, down on East Street.
East Street?
Yeah, Street, East Street and Bay Street. Yeah, that's
Oh.
right. Check him in upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when he took me and Fox upstairs and chose the book, put it, and opened the Bible of the house. It was somebody that I don't think many members of you know who that is. Because Sakai had a son who was Chief Justice.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't know what sedition, the meaning of sedition, until Blake asked him, what is the meaning of sedition? He didn't know. So Blake said, I'll give you 1 week to consider what is the meaning of sedition while I spend time in Nassau with sunshine and sea. He said, yes. And that's when they said the card fall, and fall to the ground, and Fox made the case. Faith that Moses mounted by having faith, because he can see no way out. Because when the police come to Fox office, we love and say it used to be when you shoot there on the ground. Police detective come for Fox, so you're under arrest for in charge of sedition. And they will carry me too, you know. So Fox say, where's the warrant for Sam? They had no warrant for me, because I didn't do no speaking on the job against nobody. It was Fox that is speaking on the behalf of the black people members. But so they say he was stirring up strife to create a war against the black and white. But it wasn't that wasn't the point. Is that the lawyer who charged Cartwright for going in Andres and trespassing on when you had the lumber yard,
right,
and telling the people to vote PLP, to vote Labour, vote PLP, and Fox speak to that issue on Windsor Park against Maxwell Thompson, but it wasn't the Chief Justice. The question was that if the things that Fox said about Maxwell Thompson on Windsor Park, if he said that to Chief Justice in the condition of while he was on the bench, Fox would have been guilty and be charged with sedition.
right.
But he didn't. But the question was, he didn't speak against that. He speak against an ordinary magistrate that didn't deserve that. What's Fox say?
So he used
That's what I'm glad.
intellectual knowledge to get around it. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how I learned a lot of things from Fox, boy. I learned a lot of things from Fox, boy. I learned a lot of things from him.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad, Mr. Stubbs, that you were able to stay with us to give us all these words of wisdom and knowledge that you give impart to us today, because, I mean, there's a lot of what you said is not being talked about. And, you know, we really appreciate you and your family. And I mean, your family got you looking so young, man. I mean, I gotta get that formula from them, because I hope you be around for many more birthdays. You say you're coming up to 91, that you could go as long as you want to go, and you were there for them, and you could celebrate your Father's Days and the like when each year. for as long as you want to be with your family and so forth. And so we really appreciate you taking this time to join us here on Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. And if there's anything that we could do to try and help and promote the cause and to make things better for labor in the Bahamas, then we will try and do our best.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're very much welcome. So, but you would have known my uncle, right? As a younger man. Well, my dad was Felix Knowles, and my uncle was Irvin Knowles.
Yeah, I know. I know all of them. I know all the brothers.
Oh, you know all of them? Okay. Mm-hmm.
I used to drive for Don.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I used to drive for Don in limousine.
Mm-hmm.
I used to drive when I get in my taxi.
Mm-hmm.
I used to drive for him. And he used to give me a break. I used to talk for him all the time.
Yeah. So, and you used to box.
Yeah, I'm a boxer. Yeah, I box on Joe Lewis Scott and Collins Yard.
What?
Yeah, I box a semi-final and win my job, my bout.
Mm-hmm.
With a guy from Fox and me, George Bannister.
Okay.
I knock him. I didn't knock him out, but I knocked him down a couple of times.
5'5", knocking down people.
Yeah, a couple of times. You know, the fight on the world champion card, that's a record itself.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's some significant things.
Opportunity.
And
I meet all the Bahamanali and all them. Travel bike.
Yama Bahama and those?
I meet all of them.
Mm-hmm.
I meet all of them fellas.
Mm-hmm. What about cycling?
I never cycle. I used to do stunt.
You used to do what?
Stunt.
Stunt?
Stunt.
Mm-hmm.
Stunt bike.
Stunt bike, yeah,
Like how I do stunt for the king.
Yeah.
When he was
Okay.
so
When they come in, yeah. Yeah. Wow, man. That's big. Jockey, cyclist, some stunt biker, boxer, unionist.
I've been there.
You've
Run
done
for
more
love.
than many people have done.
Run for the household assembly is important.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the women to give the women the right to
vote.
To register vote.
Mm-hmm.
That's important.
Yeah.
They don't understand that.
Yeah. I gotta work with Tommy so we could try and document all these things, man. So yeah. All right. So, Mr. Stubbs, we don't want to keep you too much longer because we don't, I know don't want you to get tired and the rest. So we'd like to thank you again.
See you.
Yeah. But I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. I hope Tommy has a lot of goodies for you to do, and he could have another one of those 2-hour conversations that he like to have with people.
Sure. Nice meeting you, Mr. Knowles.
You too. And
It's Knowles, right?
Knowles, yeah. We met at the Bahamas Humane Society, not Bahamas Humane Society, Bahamas Historical Society. All right. Wow, that was some powerful stuff there, man. Dr. Stubbs. I gotta call him a doctor now because I mean that's some serious stuff he dropped on the table there for us to consider. All of this strong leadership, passionate, authentic, unpolished truth that he dropped on the table, the integrity that you could hear in his voice of his conviction to the means of the cause. And it's all putting people first. And he talked about the unions not having the same impact because of leadership. But I mean, leadership is all about serving people. But if you doing for yourself, then I guess that's what the point that he was probably trying to make, and so forth. But we normally ask our guests to say something to the public, and so forth. But Mr. Stubbs was fading a little bit in my view, even though after the interview finished, we really wanted to go on for another hour. Once he just caught his breath of a second, then I guess we could have been there for another hour on the show. But he said to us to say that, he said, may our Lord and Savior continue to guide our nation peacefully in new intelligence and expressions of humanity among ourselves as a people here in the Bahamas. Samuel C. Stubbs, MBE. I thought that was very inspiring for him to say something like that after giving such a passionate interview, because you can see that really touched his heart, being able to make those impacts, and then to have an interview, things not turn out the way he might wanted it to turn out in terms of rewards for himself, etc., and what have you. But we're just happy that he is here and he's celebrating his 91st birthday. I mean, I struggling to get 5 cents close to that. But these are the things that great men do. They are able to, good Lord, keep them here so that they can continue to be an impact to us and so forth. And so we just need to find a way to be able to draw into the wisdom that has gone before us to figure out how we could use that wisdom to move forward and raise the quality of life here in the Bahamas. So once again, we'd like to thank you all for sticking with us and listening to Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles. We're going to be here next week. We'll have another special guest on to wrap up our Independence Month. And we'll be talking about some nuanced things in moving the country forward in the new built environment, if I could use my term that I coined someplace else. So, but until then, we want you to stay safe. Also to subscribe, like, follow, and share. Let all the children hear Mr. Stubbs' words tonight, so that they can know that they're not to repeat some of the mistakes that we made and to repeat the things that were of good ill and the earlier times in our development, and just to know history. So, Madam Producer, thank you kindly. Scholar as usual, right there, keeping me honest. All the good things so I could look the way I look. It is what it is. My nose crooked, my eye took up the this to that, but it is how it is. If we could just get to 91, we're sure that we would have done something good along the way. So we hope this has been of benefit to you, and however you see it, if it has, become a friend of Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles, either through friendship or sponsorship, and we'd love to have you continue on. Don't forget, like, share, and enjoy your evening. Stay safe. Madam Producer, take us home.
Join Something to Think About with Dale Happy Knowles as a friend and sponsor. Contact us at somethingtotink242@gmail.com or WhatsApp us at 242-424-0257.